Hey everyone, welcome back to Native Speakers Channel. I'm Sarah and I'm so excited you're joining us today. We've got a really practical topic lined up that's going to help you sound more natural and expressive when speaking English in everyday situations.
Thanks, Sarah. And hey, everyone, I'm Johnny. So today we're diving into something that I think a lot of English learners struggle with. And honestly, even native speakers can get stuck in this habit. We're talking about how to stop using the word fine all the time when people ask about your day. You know, when someone says, "How was your day?" and you just automatically respond with, "It was fine." We want to give you tons of better alternatives and teach you how to really express yourself when talking about your daily experiences.
Oh, this is such a good topic, Johnny. I think fine is probably the most overused word in casual English conversation. It's become this automatic response that doesn't really tell people anything about your day.
Exactly. And the thing is, fine isn't necessarily wrong. It's just bland. It's like eating plain rice for every meal. Sure, it's food, but where's the flavor? Where's the personality?
I love that analogy. So let's start with why people default to fine so often. What do you think?
Well, I think there are a few reasons. First, it's easy. It's one syllable, everyone knows it, and it's neutral. When you're learning English, fine feels safe because it works in almost any situation. If your day was good, you can say fine. If it was mediocre, you can say fine. If it was actually pretty bad but you don't want to get into it, you can say fine.
Right. It's the universal answer. But that's exactly the problem. It doesn't communicate anything specific. If I ask you, how was your day, and you say fine, I still don't know if you had a great day, a boring day, or a frustrating day. I have to ask follow-up questions to get any real information.
Absolutely. And in English-speaking cultures, especially in places like the US, Canada, or the UK, people actually appreciate when you share a bit more. It's part of building connections and having genuine conversations. When you give a more descriptive answer, it shows you're engaged and willing to connect.
So let's give our listeners some better options. Johnny, what are some ways to describe a really good day?
Oh, there are so many. If you had a great day, you could say, "It was fantastic," or "It was amazing." Those are pretty enthusiastic. If you want something a bit more casual, you could say, "It was pretty good," or "It was solid."
I love solid. That's very natural. You could also say, it was awesome, or it was wonderful. And here's a really common one among native speakers. It was great, actually. That little word actually adds this nice touch of pleasant surprise. Like maybe you weren't expecting the day to go so well.
Oh, that's a good point about actually. It adds nuance. You could also say it's been really productive if you got a lot done, or it's been fun if you enjoyed yourself.
And what about when you want to be more specific? Because that's where the conversation really gets interesting.
Yes, this is where you can really shine. Instead of just saying your day was good, tell them why it was good. You might say, "It was great. I finally finished that project I've been working on." Or, "It was awesome. I had lunch with an old friend I hadn't seen in years."
Those kind of specific details make the conversation so much richer. And people can respond to those details. If you say you had lunch with an old friend, they might ask, "Oh, where did you go?" Or, "How long had it been since you saw them?" It opens up the conversation.
Exactly. Now, what about when your day wasn't great? Because let's be honest, not every day is fantastic, and it's okay to express that your day wasn't.
Definitely. If you had a mediocre day, not bad, not good, just kind of meh, you have lots of options. You could say it was okay or it was all right. Those are still pretty neutral, but they're a bit more honest than fine.
You could also say it was pretty slow if not much happened, or it was a bit boring if you're being candid. Another natural one is nothing special or same old, same old.
Oh, I say same old all the time. It means everything was routine and predictable. You could also say just another day or can't complain, though that last one is interesting because it suggests the day wasn't great but wasn't bad enough to complain about.
Right. Can't complain is very common in British English especially. Now, what if your day was actually difficult or challenging?
This is important because sometimes people feel like they have to pretend everything is fine, even when it isn't. But in authentic English conversation, it's totally normal to be honest about having a tough day, as long as you're not complaining excessively to someone who barely knows you.
True. With friends, family, or coworkers you're comfortable with, you can definitely be more open. You might say, it was rough, or it was tough. If it was really challenging, you could say, it was exhausting, or it was draining.
Those are good. You could also say, it's been a long day, which implies you're tired or stressed, or it's been hectic if things were chaotic and busy. Another one is, it's been stressful, which is pretty direct.
And if you want to be a bit more colorful, you might say, it was a disaster or it was a nightmare, though those are obviously more dramatic and usually said with some humor or exaggeration.
Right, tone matters with those. You'd usually say them in a slightly joking way unless something genuinely terrible happened. What about mixed days? Sometimes your day has both good and bad parts.
Oh, good point. You could say it was up and down or it was a mixed bag. Those both express that the day had variety to it. You might follow up with, I had a tough meeting this morning, but the afternoon was better.
I like that you're giving examples of how to elaborate. That's really key. Another phrase for a mixed day is, it had its moments, which usually means there were some good parts, but overall it wasn't great.
Yes. And here's something interesting. You can combine these descriptive words with a bit of explanation to make your answer even more natural. Like, it was pretty busy, but in a good way. Or, it was tiring, but productive.
Those qualifiers are so useful. They add depth to your response. What about some more advanced or idiomatic ways to describe your day?
Ooh, good question. There are definitely some idioms and expressions that native speakers use all the time. If your day was really busy, you might say, I've been running around all day, or I've been swamped.
Swamped is great. It means you have too much work or too many things to do. You could also say, I've been slammed, which is similar. Or if things kept going wrong, you might say, it's been one of those days, which implies a series of unfortunate events.
That's such a common expression, one of those days, immediately communicates that things didn't go smoothly. On the positive side, if everything went perfectly, you might say, everything fell into place, or it couldn't have gone better.
Love those. Here's another one. If your day was uneventful but pleasant, you could say, it was nice and quiet, or it was low-key. That low-key expression is very current and natural sounding.
Oh yeah, low-key is everywhere right now. It basically means relaxed or not intense. So, Sarah, let's talk about the structure of these responses, because it's not just about replacing fine with another word, it's about building better answers.
Absolutely. A good structure is to give your overall assessment, then add a reason or example, and maybe finish with a follow-up thought. For instance, it was great. I got promoted at work. I'm still processing it, honestly.
Perfect example. You've got the assessment, great, the reason, I got promoted, and a follow-up thought, I'm still processing it. That's a complete, engaging response that gives the other person something to respond to.
And notice how natural it sounds to add those little filler phrases like honestly or actually. They make your English sound more fluent and authentic.
Definitely. Other good fillers are, to be honest, I mean,
and basically. Used sparingly, they make you sound more like a native speaker. You might say, "It was pretty good, actually. I mean, nothing crazy happened, but, I'm not complaining."
That sounds so natural. Now, let's think about different contexts. The way you describe your day might change depending on who's asking.
Great point. With your boss or a professional acquaintance, you might keep it brief and positive. "It's been productive. Thanks for asking." But with a close friend, you might give more detail. It's been crazy. First, my alarm didn't go off, then I spilled coffee on my shirt, but then I had this amazing meeting that made up for everything.
Right. Context is everything. What about cultural differences? Because I know in some cultures, people might think it's negative or complaining to say anything other than fine.
That's a really important point. In English-speaking cultures, there's this value placed on authenticity and genuine communication. People generally appreciate when you're real with them, obviously within appropriate boundaries. If someone asks, "How are you?" in passing, a quick, "Good, thanks," is fine. But if someone sits down with you and asks, "How was your day?" they usually want a real answer.
And being honest doesn't mean being negative. It's about being genuine. You can acknowledge challenges while still being positive overall. Like, today was challenging, but I learned a lot. Or, it was tough, but I'm proud of how I handled it.
Exactly. That's such a healthy way to frame things. Now, let's talk about energy and intonation, because how you say these words matters just as much as which words you choose.
Oh, yes. If someone says, "It was great," in a flat, monotone voice, it doesn't sound great at all. You need to match your tone to your words. If your day was fantastic, let your voice show some enthusiasm.
Right. And conversely, if your day was exhausting, your voice might sound tired or slower. These vocal cues help communicate your meaning. In English, we use a lot of intonation to convey emotion and emphasis.
What about some questions learners could ask to keep the conversation going? Because conversation is two-way.
Good thinking. After answering, you could turn it around. How about you? How was your day? Or if they mention something specific, you could ask about that. Did that meeting you were worried about go okay? This shows you're engaged and interested.
And if you want to elaborate on your day, you can ask, "Do you want to hear about?" Or, "Can I tell you about something funny that happened?" This gives the other person a choice about whether to dive deeper into the conversation.
I like that. It's considerate. Now, let's give some example dialogues so people can hear how this all fits together naturally.
Okay, I'll start. Imagine we're colleagues who just ran into each other. "Hey, Johnny, how was your day?"
Pretty hectic. We had a last-minute deadline change, so I've been scrambling all afternoon. But I just submitted everything, so I'm feeling relieved. How about yours?
Nice job getting it done. Mine was actually really productive. I finally got through that huge pile of emails I've been avoiding, and I had a great brainstorming session with the marketing team. I'm feeling good about this week.
See how much more interesting that is than fine? We learned what actually happened, how we felt about it, and we connected over our experiences.
Exactly. Let's do another scenario. This time, imagine we're friends meeting for coffee. "Hey, how's your day been going?"
Honestly, it's been one of those days. I woke up late, missed my bus, and then my laptop froze in the middle of an important task. But you know what? I'm here now with coffee and good company, so things are looking up.
Oh, no. I hate when days start like that. At least you made it here. Mine's been pretty chill, actually. I worked from home, got through my to-do list, and even had time to go for a walk. Sometimes those quiet days are exactly what you need.
Perfect. Notice how we both gave specific details, expressed our feelings, and the conversation flowed naturally. That's what we're going for.
So let's summarize some key takeaways for our listeners. First, fine is okay occasionally, but it's overused and doesn't communicate much.
Second, choose words that actually reflect your experience, whether that's fantastic, exhausting, productive, or mixed.
Third, add specific details or reasons to make your answer more interesting and conversation-worthy.
Fourth, match your tone and energy to your words. Let your voice express what you're saying.
And fifth, remember that being honest and authentic is valued in English-speaking cultures. You don't have to pretend everything is always perfect.
These are all such important points. And you know what? The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. It might feel awkward to give longer answers at first, but soon it'll be second nature.
Absolutely. Start paying attention to how native speakers answer this question. Watch TV shows, listen to podcasts, and observe conversations around you. You'll notice patterns and phrases you can adopt.
And practice. When someone asks about your day, challenge yourself to use something other than fine. Even if you start with something simple like, "It was pretty good, I had a nice lunch," that's better than a one-word response.
One more thing I want to mention, learning these alternatives doesn't mean you have to share everything about your day with everyone. You can still keep things brief if that's more comfortable. "It was busy, but good" is short, but still more informative than fine.
That's a great point. You're building a skill set, and you can choose how much to use depending on the situation. With some people, you'll want to share more. With others, a brief but descriptive answer is perfect.
So, Johnny, using what we've discussed today, how was your day?
Well, it's been really engaging, actually. I love having these conversations about language because it reminds me how rich and expressive English can be. We get to help people communicate better, and that's pretty fulfilling. Plus, I had a great sandwich at lunch, so bonus points for that.
I love it. Specific, genuine, and it gave me something to respond to. Mine's been similar. Energizing and fun. These recording sessions always leave me feeling creative and motivated. And now I'm curious about that sandwich.
See, that's how conversation works. We both shared real information, expressed how we felt, and created connection points for further discussion. That's what we want for everyone watching.
Before we wrap up, let's give some more quick alternatives people can practice. If your day was good, excellent, lovely, pleasant, satisfying, rewarding, or enjoyable.
If it was bad, difficult, frustrating, overwhelming, disappointing, or challenging, and if it was somewhere in between, okay, decent, not bad, pretty quiet, or uneventful.
Remember, you can also combine these with degree words like really, pretty, fairly, quite, or incredibly to fine-tune your meaning. It was fairly quiet versus it was incredibly busy gives very different impressions.
Such a good point. The English language gives us so many tools to express exactly what we mean. We just need to practice using them instead of falling back on the same old words every time.
All right, everyone, that's going to wrap up today's conversation. We hope this has given you lots of alternatives to use next time someone asks about your day. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate fine from your vocabulary, it's to expand your options so you can express yourself more clearly and authentically.
And remember that language learning is a journey. Every time you try a new phrase or expression, you're getting better. Be patient with yourself and celebrate the small victories.
Thanks so much for joining us on Native Speakers Channel. If you found this helpful, let us know in the comments what other topics you'd like us to cover. And tell us, what's one new phrase you're going to try using this week?
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. And remember, the next time someone asks how your day was, you've got this. You have so many better options than just fine.
Until next time, keep practicing, keep learning, and keep communicating.
See you in the next one.
Bye, everyone.